Hello YouTubers. In my last video you may or may not have seen that I was moving between two different farms to show you what I was considering the most optimal way to build an animal pen. I was working on finding a better location that was much more wide open and flat to build my farm at. Now, as easy as it is to create a house, move all my items, create pens and a greenhouse, and replant all my plants, moving animals is even more difficult. But this is only because the creator saw fit to give the animals a mind of their own. As such, I figured that there's got to be a more efficient way of moving them. This is a rail system. It is part of the Buildcraft mod. The rails can be put on any whole block, and this is compared to a half block like a fence. It can go up hills as long as it has a gradual slope to go up. I only built it like this so that I didn't have to deal with slope after slope of having to go up and down with my rail system, making sure I was going in the right direction, because when you're on the ground it's difficult to see that, and dealing with NPCs, particularly enemy NPCs, going across the rail at any one time. This is all the different rails and minecarts available in the Buildcraft pack, at least as of the version that will work with 1.5. Here we have a simple rail for moving a simple minecart around, or any of them. Just push it along the track and it will move. Here is a powered rail, which when powered by a switch, redstone torch, or any device that gives off power, will speed the minecart along so that it has enough power to, like, let's say, go up a slope or something, or at least go on a ways before it needs to be powered again. This is a detector rail, which when a cart moves across it will charge up the activator rail so that the cart can speed along. This is a activator rail, which is mainly for a minecart with TNT in it. Now, as for the minecarts, here is a regular minecart. Push space to get in and out. It can move a player or NPCs. Here is a chest minecart, which is basically a minecart with a chest. You can put stuff in there. And I imagine that with just the right kind of system, it could even be set to move objects if you're wanting to connect it up with a pipe or something. Obviously that would be a bit of work to get that working. Here is a minecart with a furnace in it. Now what that does is this. Put coal in it and it starts to go as a powered engine. And in particular, this can be used to move minecarts, as you'll see like this. Mind you, it is not connected to that minecart. It mainly just pushes it along, and at least one source has said that it is not necessarily capable of pushing a minecart up a hill. Moving along, here's the TNT minecart, which is basically a minecart with TNT in it. Well, here we have the TNT cart, and over here at the other end we have a detector rail connected to an activator rail. And if I'm correct, that should ignite the TNT to go off. There we go. With the powered rails, well, basically, this is how it can work. When it goes along these powered sections, it speeds the minecart along. Now, with this in mind, you might think that it would be impossible for the minecart to stop if it is basically speeding along this fast. However, if I turn that switch off, it will automatically stop the minecart. So there is a way to interrupt the system so that you can have a minecart that you can like put stuff in. Now, as I said earlier, animals have a mind of their own. As such, there's got to be a way of controlling that kind of chaos, right? Oh, by the way, before I forget, well, I already did forget. Powered rails, because they work on redstone power, have a short distance. As you can see, there is no power there. As such, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tracks from a track with an adjoining switch that you'll have to put another switch down to turn on the rail. Or you get a detector piece which will then push the minecart down a ways. Of course, that will depend on how far you can get a minecart to go before you need to put down another detector piece to get it pushed even farther. Because this creates a continuous push of the minecart, because all the switches are continually on, versus the fact that a detector can give it an initial push once it hits the first powered rail. However, it will start to slow down again once the rails are no longer powered. Now, as for the animals, here's how to get it into a minecart. You just shoot. Well, it's normally just a matter of pushing it into the minecart. I'll try it again. Or it can walk itself in. I swear I did not have it that easy before. Now, this is all simple to do if you can manage to push the one animal into the minecart, and that's keeping in mind that you're able to separate one animal from an entire herd, due to the fact that animals will chase after you if you have the right kind of food that will get their attention. And that's just for the animal part of it. There's also trying to get them out of the minecart, and the only way to do that is to break the minecart, because there's no simple way to get them out. However, even then, there's still trying to get them to cooperate with you in such a way that they will follow you into the pen. Now, out of all this whole scenario, the hardest part is just trying to separate them out so that you can grab them one at a time to send down the rail system. As such, is this an easier method? Well, in my opinion, no. Because all the animals will chase after you, and I tried controlling them, but as long as there is an animal going through the door that you have placed down to keep them all from going in at once, they will all go in at once, which makes it impossible for the door to be of any function. As such, you are better off just creating some type of, well, for example, if anyone has seen a cattle show or cattle auction, you will see that they are all put in pens, and then when it's ready for them to be sold, or even at a slaughterhouse, they will travel down these fenced rows, I'm not sure what best to call them, and it makes them easier to herd them. Now, as far as herding them down this chute, one thing I strongly recommend is having these fences up. I tried this once before when I was building this thing early on, and despite the fact that I had seeds in my hands, the chickens fell off. So make sure to build a fence up while you do this. Well, that should just about do it. Some last notes I will add is, in case anyone was wondering why I combined the Railcarts tutorial with how to hurt animals, it is only because there is more information about the Railcarts I could give than about hurting animals, because the main reason I did this in the first place was to try to find an easier way to hurt animals, and it did not work. So this is how to use the rail system, and there is no easy way to move animals.